Welcome back to the show, everyone. Again, we're here with Mr. Steve and Manny from Jolie's, and they're going to explain to us how we're going to make our this wonderful dish that I'm excited to see.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get some heat on the skillet. In the meantime, can we talk a little bit about our hours?
We got plenty to talk about, so why don't you go ahead and give us some info.
Well, for those of you who aren't familiar with Jolie's Bistro, and Jolie's Louisiana Bistro, because we're totally Louisiana restaurant, we do a concept that is called Louisiana Farm to Table, where we get as many ingredients as we possibly can from local sources. We're up to over 30 local farmers and food artisans that Chef Manny Augello has developed relationships with, and it's not unusual to walk into the kitchen when we open on Tuesday morning and have farmers in the kitchen hand delivering produce that just came out of the field. I mean,
that's great.
It comes off of their farm, it comes to our restaurant, and then it goes on our tables.
Well, I don't think that there's very many restaurants in Lafayette that can brag about that. You know, like just the freshness and all these different farmers that y'all have, and like the dishes that we were looking at earlier. Are kind of amazing. If you want to touch on some of those? Yeah, well, we have a core menu of New Orleans Creole classics, like barbecued, New Orleans style barbecued shrimp with peasant bread to sop up the sauce. And we do a Zapp's Crawtator crusted tilapia. The tilapia is farm raised in Scott by Gautreaux Family Farms, filleted, brought fresh to our restaurant, never frozen. And it's not like any tilapia you've ever tasted. Forget anything you've ever tasted. Tilapia is good fish, but it's very neutral. And this is amazing. It's got much more flavor than your typical tilapia. And then Manny and our staff hand crust it with Zapp's Crawtator potato chips, and I like that.
Fry it and serve a crawfish cream sauce, Louisiana crawfish, and a cream sauce over the top of it, which is a big item that people love. This cioppino is addictive. There are people that come in and can't order anything else but it. And then we have a very thick-cut bone-in pork chop. We get our pork from Eunice Superette. We hand-cut them. We brine them for tenderness and to keep them moist. And then Manny and them grill them and serve them with a sweet potato and andouille hash and a Port Orleans glaze. And the Port
Orleans glaze is basically steamed cane syrup and a little port wine and rosemary all cooked down.
The mixture.
Little mixture.
Wow. Well, there's also one special thing about Manny. You want to tell us about it? The very special chef he's certified?
Oh, yes, of course. Manny is the only chef in the state of Louisiana that is certified, our whole kitchen is certified gluten-free by the National Organization for Celiac
Awareness.
And so when somebody comes in and has either gluten intolerance or a full-blown gluten allergy, that they can be assured that they're not going to get any cross-contamination. They're not going to get any gluten in their food. And so we have a menu that periodically he reworks it, so it's not constantly always the same thing. But when people come in and eat off the gluten-free menu, they're not going to feel like they're settling. The food they're getting on that gluten-free menu is going to be just as good. They're going to be people at the table wishing they had ordered it. And then also monthly, we hold a gluten-free support group meeting. So you can go to the website at joliesbistro.com, and once a month, there's a gluten-free support group that meets at Jolie's.
Go ahead.
Steve, why don't you tell them the hours of operation?
We do lunch Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 2. We do a brunch Saturday and Sunday. It's an off-the-menu brunch, not a buffet, from
10:30 to
10:30 to 2. Lunch is 11 to 2. And then we do dinner Tuesday through Saturday, 5 to 9 or 5 to 10 toward the weekends. So we're open for lunch and dinner basically every weekday. We're open for brunch both weekend days, and we're open Saturday night. So we're only closed Sunday night and Monday.
Got it. And where are you located at again?
We're at 507 West Pinhook, somewhat basically across from the Ruth Chris, and it's about a quarter of a mile before you would get to Blue Dog on the same side of Pinhook.
So you close between both restaurants?
What's that?
You're right in between both restaurants?
Oh yeah, man. I run back and forth.
But like you were saying, the last show we did, the last episode, you're pretty much central to everybody, so it's very much a good location.
It's a very good location, particularly for the lunch business, because there's business areas all around us. And for dinner, we tend to draw a lot of people in from St. Martin. There are people from Lafayette, of course, but a lot of people come in for dinner because we're so well located there on Pinhook, just off the thruway, that if you dash in from Opelousas or Karen Crow or Sunset, St. Martinville, New
Youngsville.
Iberia, Youngsville. It's much closer to get to us than it is to the restaurants out there on Ambassador Caffrey,
Yeah,
where
and the
all the
traffic
corporates
and
are.
stuff.
And the traffic's not
Yeah.
as bad either.
Well, that's good. We just want to remind everybody at home, if you want a copy of this recipe that they're going to be doing for us today in a short few minutes, you can go to our website at kdcg.com and click on the What's Cooking show, or you can go by either Piggly Wiggly here, store in Opelousas. Jason,
8410 Highway 182 North or 1305 Heather Drive.
you got it.
don't
And
even
pick up
work
your
there.
recipes or any other
I
recipes
know
done
the
on the show.
address.
And if you want to be a guest with us, you can contact Miss Kathy and them up front at KDCG and tell
Or send an email
email
to the station.
me or Jason or whatever, and we'll be glad to have you on. So if y'all want, we can go ahead and
Get some heat on
start.
the pan.
Okay, looks like we have some pretty good heat. So we're going to start off with a mixture of garlic, olive oil, and parsley.
It's like a little pesto.
Just like a little pesto, we call it Persillade.
All right.
And to this, we're going to add some shallot.
Wish we had smell-o-vision already.
Oh yeah.
I will say though, like I have not seen a good cioppino since like this since culinary school. To be honest with you.
It's a very rich dish, and it originates from the San Francisco Bay Area. So it's loaded with lots of fresh seafood. In our case, we're going to use Louisiana shrimp.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about the origin of the name cioppino?
The way the story goes, cioppino, when you had the sailors from Portugal initially who worked in San Francisco, and in their broken English, at the end of each, so often whenever they cooked family dinner, they went up with a pot through the docks, and it would say chip in, chip in. But the Americans picked it up, and they called it cioppino instead of chip in.
So whatever anybody had,
It went
they
into the
caught
pot,
that day,
and
they
cooked it down.
They chipped in their share, and they made it a community meal for the fishermen.
Hey, why not?
So we're going to take a quick break, guys, and come right back for more What's Cooking in just a few minutes.